for us. And we together, I'm Angela Giles. I love marketing. I've had my own marketing business for almost 18 years. And I'm just here to support you.
Fabulous. So again, if you're interested in getting on camera, let me know. There's a chat box to the right. So if you need anything, please go ahead and chat. There we go. I'm watching the chat box. Thanks, Precious. She's so sweet. She said, yes, she is. We're going to go ahead and get started. We want to give you guys some information. Now, if you're not comfortable getting on video, please use your chat box to the right and ask any questions. Angela and I are making this very casual. This is something that we plan on doing every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific for the next 4 weeks, because we know what's happening in the world right now. And we want to be able to give you guys some kind of structure, something to look forward to, and a place to learn. So just to give you a little bit more information, we're going to just go over a few things of what Angela and myself have been doing with ourselves, what's been going on in our lives, because we're just like you. We're real people. We're dealing with real circumstances. Angela and I are each moms of 3. I've got 2 of my kids at home. She's got all 3 of hers at home. My oldest is 23. He doesn't live with me anymore. And we both run our own businesses, brick and mortar as well as online. So obviously it's been challenging. Now, Angela and I both live in Las Vegas. And as of yesterday, the governor announced that all non-essential businesses will be closed to the public. So basically we are on what we call self-quarantine, because we're not being made to stay home, but Angela and I are staying home and not heading out anywhere at all at this point.
No, and we're lucky that we have that option. You know, I have some team in the Philippines, and they're actually, from what they've told me, they're quarantined and they have soldiers on the street.
Yes, and Israel is the same way. I have family in Israel, and as of 2 days ago, they're not allowed to leave the house. There are quite a few countries like that right now, and in America, we're still okay. And so far, I think everybody joining us from the States. So what we want to get started with is this. We have a challenge now. We have a challenge because our entire day, our entire routine is completely changed. If you're anything like myself and Angela, we typically get up in the morning and either we have a scheduled routine where our kids go to school, got 1 in college and 1 in high school. Angela's got 2 in high school, right, Ange?
2 in high school and 1 that does his own thing.
Yeah, that works. So they're all home now, and that makes it challenging because we're used to having our own time as many women. If you're not a mom and you went to a job or you're still going to a job, it makes it challenging as well to find time because everybody's under stress. So I think what we're going to do next is we're going to jump in, kind of go back and forth with Angela and I with some ideas for your own self-care during these uncertain times, because it's so important to take care of yourself. I don't care if you even live by yourself. You will go bonkers if you don't take care of yourself. And yes, I think bubble baths and stuff are wonderful, but that's not even what we're talking about today. Angela, do you want to jump in and get started, or do you want me to go?
I do. So we all have different things that we do, but what I wanted to talk about today that I think is super imperative is, look, you're all home for the most part, unless you're working in a job that's essential and you're out working, but you still have things that go on. When this whole thing first started for me, the biggest thing, and I'm used to working from home. I'm used to like only going out maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Seriously, ask Elite, she'll tell you. So I'm used to getting my self-care done either in my own home space, or I might go get my nails done or things like that. But as life changed for me, it became imperative that I tend to my mental state first. And for me, that meant that I needed to have people surrounding me to talk to. That is a huge element of self-care for me. For some of you that may be, and for some of you that may not be. But for me, that is like my number one thing I have to have. I have to have a community. I have to have people I talk to. I have to have people I check in with, throughout the day, that I check in way more now to keep my mindset grounded, to keep myself just really, truly like in a good space, because I really believe self-care all starts with your mind. I think it's 90% of what you do. So I wanted to bring that to you today and talk about, okay, so what do you do? Like, what are some things you can do to like really protect your mindset and have that be like your number one thing? Because that, and Galit has a bunch of really cool things she's going to share today. The first thing I wanted to say is look around you, find out who are your besties, who are people that are willing to get on the phone with you in the morning or a Zoom call. Galit, if, for example, for me, she is like one of my best friends, and I get on a Zoom call with her almost every morning now. And we talk about, okay, how are we feeling? What's going on? What do you need help with? Whatever that thing is to keep me grounded. Because I am telling you, yes, I've got a very positive mindset, but all this stuff has caused me incredible amounts of anxiety.
And me too.
Yes. And it was truly this radical acceptance. I woke up this morning, the very first morning I woke up without anxiety in the pit of my stomach that I didn't have to ward off. I actually felt really good. And I really believe it was last night I was having a conversation with another trusted person in my life. So this is what I'm talking about, community. And I went to my go-to place and I finally got there. It took me like 5 days, and it was radical acceptance of where we're at right now as a global community. I have to radically accept however that's going to impact my life. It's going to impact my life, and I just need to keep a positive mindset. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. So find community. Reach out. Everyday Woman is a community. We have a Facebook page. We now have a Facebook group that we just put together. You can come in. We'll give you the link, and it's free. It's just come in and support one another. If you have a church community, reach out. Start Zoom chats with your family, where everybody gets on. Whatever that looks like for you, find community, set specific times to interact with one another. And for me, that's like the biggest self-care tip that I can give you right now. That's what's helping me right now today. Stay sane, put a smile on my face, and know that I'm okay and my family's okay. Galit? Yeah.
Amen. So some of the women that I recognize their names, they're out there still working. I know because some of them are not in Nevada. We've only got a few people. And so a lot of you may still be working, going out every day, which causes a whole nother level of trying to figure out how to find time for self-care, because now you're working and dealing with everything that's happening. So one of the things that I like to talk about, which is very simplistic and people love that it's something they can remember, is ABC. And ABC really stands for awareness, balance, control. And the reason that I bring that up is it's something I talk about in my stress management talks as well, because it kind of goes side by side. And let me explain to you why. When we self-care, it's because we want to be less stressed typically. Right. So when you're looking at awareness, the A in ABC, the first thing to do is ask yourself, why am I stressed out? So when Angela and I get on the phone in the mornings and we each have our days, we like take our turns, meaning who's fallen apart that morning. And I say to her, okay, I'm not doing well today. And she says, why? Then I respond, that's awareness. Mm-hmm. Well, I have to close my office. I'm not sure where I'm going to have income from, whatever it might be. So I want you guys to think about with the A, why are you stressed? Now, even though a lot of us are dealing with the same circumstances, we each deal with them differently. So one of us could be stressed about money. One of us could be stressed about our health. One of us could be stressed about the necessities we need in life, like food. One of us can be stressed about our children. I mean, one of us can be about our animals. One of us could be about, how am I going to get out of the house and be around people? How am I going to, whatever it might be. So even though the circumstances might be similar, we don't all handle them the same way.
No, we don't.
Awareness is huge, guys. It's really interesting because I'll make a joke, like I'll walk up to the table. This morning I walked up to the table, or it was dinner last night, and I said, I am aware that I have a cookie problem. Now I'm being a little funny, but I walked up to the table eating Thin Mints Girl Scout cookies. But that awareness is something that you want to really, really take seriously, because that's the first step to recognizing what you're going to do about your self-care. Really, really, really important. The next thing that you want to focus on is balance. Now this is a little bit interesting because people go, well, what do you mean? How do you balance it? Well, we've got life and we've got us. And if we don't have balance in our lives of self-care, then how can we be healthy? How can we be calm? How can we get along with the challenges and the obstacles that show up? So you've got to ask yourself, again, each person is different. One thing Angela and I talk about is, even though the new movement is called Everyday Woman, we also very aware that each woman is different. It's just that we're dealing with so many of the same things. So you need to find out what percentage of balance is for you. And I'll give you an example. I had this one business client. I said, okay, how much do you work? She goes, I work 7 days a week. And this was before everything was going on. And I said, all right, well, where is your balance? She says, what do you mean? Now, I didn't say to her, you should take time off, you should go on vacation. That's not for me to say. She said, all I want to do is take Fridays to play my instrument.
Wow.
And that was balance for her. Like, she went to church every Sunday, but for her, balance was, how do I play my instrument? So we found a way for her to implement balance into her business so she could take a half a day off every Friday. That's all she wanted. That was what balance was for her, and that's what allowed her to be calmer and really enjoy working. So ask yourself, what percentage, what days, what hours work for you? Angela, how much balance do you need? How much self-care are you at?
Well, honestly, right now, I'm doing way more self-care than I ever used to in the past. And it's really interesting that you asked me that, because I went to Spain a few weeks ago and I was speaking at an event. And one of the things that I really learned from that event was I really need to protect my own life force. And I realized at that point, and this is when coronavirus was just starting, but it wasn't really in the United States, it wasn't a big deal. And I thought, I need to work less and have more balance, more self-care, because that's where it all starts. Especially as you get older, you need to protect like your life force and your energy. So now it's really interesting with all of this going on. I'm probably spending a couple hours a day doing self-care, including some naps now, just because I feel more tired. I feel like the energy is shifting around us and things are going on, and it's taken a lot of mental capacity for me to handle it and focus and all of that. So self-care is a couple hours a day. I nap, I walk around the block, I'm listening to some meditations, I'm talking to Gleet and other people. I mean, and that's
And
okay.
I'm kind of in the same place with Angela, because I am now working full-time from home. I don't want to leave my kids, and that's my choice and I can make it. But I am in the same place as her. I actually thought maybe I wasn't feeling well, and I am feeling great. The last 3 days, I have been completely exhausted. And the last 3 days, I myself have taken a nap. And I start work quite early, about 5:30, but that's normal for me. And what I've noticed is, when we are under stress, when we are in uncertain times, our body, even though this might be strong because I'm working on that every day, my body's exhausted. So the way that you avoid getting sick, and this is not the first time you've heard this, stress causes sickness. Fear causes sickness. These things are really strong. So my body's more tired than normal right now, and I'm recognizing that. And aside from the normal sleep I get every night of 7 to 8 hours, I'm now taking a nap from anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Around 2:30, my batteries run out. I'm exhausted. I can't see straight. And I say, hey, kids, I'm going to go lay down for a half an hour. And I go lay down for 30 to 60 minutes. And now look at me. I took my nap before this and I feel amazing. And I'll be able to take care of the house, work, do whatever I need to do. So find your own balance, please. Find your own balance. The other part that has to do with balance is the positive versus the negative. Now, what does that mean? The positive versus the negative stress. There's a positive stress. And I know it sounds crazy, but when things are not like they are right now, and I'm stressed out about a deadline, you betcha I'm getting that deadline done. Angela and I both work really well under stress. That to me is a positive stress, because it motivates me and it pushes me to get what I need to get done. The negative stress is I'm overtired, I don't feel well, I can't think straight. That's where you need to be careful. Angela's drinking her tea. We both drink tea multiple times a day. I just had mine before the call.
Hey, Khalid,
That,
I have like 4 cups sitting on my desk.
from today,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. This is always full of water. It's always sitting on my desk. Hydrating. If you like coffee, drink coffee. Angela and I are tea girls. We love our herbal teas. In the mornings, I start with my caffeine tea. But you guys need to find out what works for you and recognize that some of this is going to be normal. I wish there was a way that I could give you a magic wand and take away all of your stress, anxiety, fear. And I'm not saying you're feeling that. Those are just what a lot of people are feeling. And the last letter for the ABC is control. This is a favorite. As somebody that used to be a self-professed control freak and has spent the last 9.5 years working, I know, right? We're working on that every day, working on not being a control freak anymore and recognizing life happens. Situations like this are tough for people that are used to being in control. Now, let me explain to you what that means. I know what my day looks like when I wake up in the morning. I know where my kids are. I know what clients I have to deal with. I know where the food is that I have to buy. I know the drive to work. I know where my coffee is or my tea when I have to pick it up. That's a controlled factor. And there's way more. But what happens now in self-care is you need to recognize what you can control and what you can't. And you
Mhm.
just separate the two. Because there's so many things right now that we cannot control. But there's so many things we can. And I'm going to let Angela jump in and talk a little about control. And then I'm going to share with you some of the things that we can.
I think for me, I am a control freak. I admit it. But what I have learned, and this is something I've been really working on the last 6 months, and it's interesting because I really believe this is in all areas of your life. And I actually was talking about it at church a few Sundays ago, was having absolute radical acceptance of where you are in your life. In a way, because I'm a control freak, and you can whatever you believe in, but for me, I believe in God. So for me, accepting the fact that it's just radical acceptance of this is what's going on in my personal life, this is what's going on, and just handing that off to a higher power for me is control. It's like letting go, but I still have control because I'm accepting. I don't know if that makes sense to
Yes,
you,
it
but
makes sense.
yeah, it's like sometimes you can't control everything. You just can't. And this virus is a big example of that. For a lot of you, you can't control what the economic ripples are going to be in your life. For some of you, or the health, or even PTSD that might come out of this for family members or friends or yourself, for even. But what you can control is radically accepting, hey, this is what's going on in my external world and my internal world, and then I'm going to take some measures to help me deal with this, right? And that will calm your anxiety, because I get massive anxiety, like out of control anxiety where my body shakes. But when I learn to radically accept, and I just like say, okay, God, you handle this, and just let me do what I can do, that's good. I don't get those kind of shakes. I don't get that kind of anxiety when I do that. So for me, that's a good way for me to be in control, but yet not be in control, if that makes any sense at all
It
to you.
makes complete sense. And I think what we want to share more than anything in this piece that we're talking about is some people believe in something bigger, some people don't. That's cool.
That's
We want
okay.
everybody to believe in what way they do. What Angela's pushing here is that there's something that she believes in that's bigger, and she's kind of, and I do this because I'm so visual, she's handing it over. So I don't care if you hand it over to your glass of wine. I don't care if you hand it over to the jacuzzi. I don't care if you hand it over to the bath with the candles. I don't care if you hand it over to your significant other. It's so important to do this. And the reason that we do this, and you've heard the words, I carry a lot of weight on my shoulders. I'm feeling it in my stomach or my heart. You guys have heard these sayings. This is not something that Angela and I, or Everyday Woman, is making up. You need to find a way to let go. That's the actual truth to what Angela's saying. Control is about what can I control, which we're going to talk about that because people really want to have control right now. And what can't I? What you can't control, this is an affirmation I use a lot. I let go of all that I cannot handle. I let go of all that no longer benefits me. This is a verbal affirmation that I use, that I've shared with a lot of people, because there's something about saying things out loud, just like I'm aware of. or I can't control this. When you're saying things out loud, you're letting them go. So I really highly recommend adding that in the mornings. I wake up before I put my feet on the ground. I stand up and I say, thank you for another day. And I thank you for keeping all of my loved ones healthy and happy and at peace. And I say, I let go of everything that no longer benefits me. I do the same thing before I go to bed. I don't know what kind of routine you have before you go to bed, if you believe in something and pray or whatever,
Right.
source, spirit, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Journaling.
whatever.
Journaling is a way to, so another thing that I do, Galit, and if you guys want to ever like get into this, it's super cool. It's really like helped me, is I do bullet journaling. So I write, and I wouldn't say I'm creative when it comes to like doodling or all of that, but actually it's really super helped me just like get my thoughts down. And you can, with bullet journaling, you can track your finances, you can track your movies, you can track your self-care, you can track anything. So if you ever want to talk about that, reach out to me. I'm happy.
Yeah, Angela, you guys can check out Angela's blog. We'll put a link in the Everyday Woman page. She is an expert in bullet journaling, and she has this amazing, amazing blog. And you really want to check it out because
I blog
really,
about bullet journaling as part of
yes, I know. I know you do a whole thing about it. So you definitely want to check it out because some of us are not writers, but there's a system to what she's talking about. And what she's talking about is actually another self-care method. It's another way to get it out of your system. I recommend to a lot of people to keep a journal next to their bed. Angela loves this. Journal next to your bed because it seems that when things get quiet, that's when everything gets crazy up here. And before you go to bed, you actually journal or get it out of your system. I tell people if you have a to-do list from here to tomorrow, write it down before you go to bed. Get as much out of your brain as you can. It's really, really important. Now let's talk about the things you can control because we like control. You can control the way that you choose to spend your day. You can control it. I know you think you can't, but you can. Now, within limits. If you're like Angela and I, where we're self-quarantining because a lot of the city is shut down, we have set up schedules for ourselves and for our children. Now, we don't have babies. Angela and I have teenagers and young adults, but they're still in school, so they know that our schools, thankfully, have started emailing homework to the kids. Thankfully, they know that they've got homework. So I'll walk you through my day. I'll have Angela walk you through a day, pretty typical in my house. I get up before everybody. I love my pin drop quiet. I self-care by getting in front of my television and my Netflix. By the way, I recommend having something to watch if you like TV. If not, read, whatever you like. I love my TV show. It's my escape. I make my herbal tea. I sit in my recliner with my pajamas on and my blanket on, and I turn on the television for a 42-minute episode. That's how I start every morning. I'm slow to go in the morning. I can't work out right away because I don't have a lot of energy when I wake up, but I do start early. Then I will typically get on the computer and start working. I like to work before the kids are up, before the house is awake. Then my daughter will get up, she'll come down, we'll have breakfast together. After breakfast, she goes upstairs, does her homework. I get back on the computer and I work some more. We stop for lunch. So see, this is a pretty normal day. After lunch, we both go for a walk, do a dance class, go in the backyard. We both like dancing, so today we had a really fun dance class. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube is offering so much amazing stuff right now. We took a dance class today on Instagram, guys, with Debbie Allen, and this is from my generation. She was the chicken fame, man. It's so cool.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, so she she taught us a dance. Then I will typically, after we're done working out, cook dinner and have dinner with my family and then work a little more and then watch a family movie before bed. I'm walking you through this because I want you to see that there's a schedule put in place and every day it changes a little bit. Angela, what's your schedule looking like right now?
So mine is so different, and that's what's awesome about Everyday Woman. You know, we're all different. Mine is I wake up between 5 and 6 and I pray. That's my very first thing I do. Then I get on my phone and I start looking at through all my stuff and seeing what's going on. And then, you know what, I get up and I feed the animals. I check on the house. I open the blinds. If there's dirty dishes from the night before, because my kids are night owls, I get the dishes done, I make myself breakfast, and I come up, and usually I have a call with Glee, right? My day really truly is spent just working. Like, I have a routine from before, but the interesting thing is I'm stopping now. My husband is working in an essential job, so he comes home at lunch. We eat lunch together, and the kids don't get up until like 2. They're like, their whole system has changed. And so between 2 and 4, I'm either talking to my kids, making snacks, taking a nap, just hanging out, you know, relaxing, doing what I need to do. And then I might work again from like 4 to 5 before we do dinner. And then I make dinner for the family and we spend family time. I will say for me, I do a lot more self-care in the evenings as well. I do a lot of bullet journaling in the evenings. I read. I'm a voracious reader. I taught myself to speed read in junior high. So I'm always on my phone. I've got a big phone and I read on Kindle. Kindle Unlimited. If you are a reader, I highly recommend this as another self-care. It's $9.99 a month. It is worth, hands down. You can read as many books. It's free unlimited Kindle. Every book you can imagine. So that is what I do at night. I read my book. I'll read my scriptures. That's me. We all have our things. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. And some of the other stuff I want to get you guys off in a few minutes because we really want to make these 30 minutes so you guys can join us every week for a different topic. But what I wanted to bring up real quick is some of the stuff we already talked about, but self-care includes your sleep. It includes your diet. Now, I'm not talking about going on a diet. There's a lot of jokes out there that everybody's already eaten their quarantine snacks in one day. But I want you to eat to be healthy. I want you to sleep to be healthy. Now, remember, different for each person. If I don't get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, I'm a zombie. I have to sleep. I know people that get 4 hours and they're fabulous. So I want you to think about what that looks like for you so you can be healthy. Sleep, your diet, exercise. I don't care if you run up and down the stairs 20 times if you're capable. I don't care if you walk around the kitchen 30 times a day. Go outside to the backyard, come back in. If you don't have those options,
chase your dog around the house.
Chase your dog around, jump in place. There are so many options today for free exercise videos that are 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. If you have Amazon Prime, ladies, oh my gosh, there's an unlimited amount of videos there for exercise. Just search what you want to do and mix it up so you don't get bored. And I also want you to recognize more than anything that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. Okay? If you're in a job where right now you're needed more than ever in the healthcare profession, in the city, in the whatever it might look like, you've got to take care of yourself because you're going to burn out. Now, many people in some of these industries are working overtime. I highly understand that you don't have a lot of self-care time. So I'm going to give you a few quick ones that you can do for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 minutes. Breathe. That's a huge one. You breathe in for 8 counts. You breathe out for 8 counts. You have a break at your job. You're going to the bathroom at your job. You're eating at your job. I don't care what it is. If you have to work crazy hours because you're one of those businesses or professions that they need, I want you to take breaths. We do not breathe deep enough, and is one of the healthiest things you can do. The other thing I suggest is closing your eyes, even if it's 5 minutes at a time. Okay? If you're eating, if you get a break, I don't care if you're going to the bathroom. Close your eyes and take those deep breaths and see calm. See something that brings you calm. For me, it's the ocean, it's the clouds, it's the green. Figure out what it is that brings calm over you. And the last thing I want to mention before I open up for any questions, if anybody wants to ask any, and if not, that's okay, is I want you to think about the things. If you are in quarantine, like Angela and I are self-quarantine, I don't think any states have been asked to stay home by law yet. But
for San Francisco area is now shelter in place.
Wow. Okay, so San Francisco. So you want to recognize more than anything that you probably have to-do lists that you never had time to do. My pantry has never been more organized. Next, I'm moving into the garage, meaning going to organize it. So I have no excuse in between working and the kids to get my never-ending to-do list done. Think about that. Make a list of all the things you've ever wanted to do in the house or from the computer. It could be take a class. There's these online classes that are like $5 and $10 that you can take. There's so much free material out there.
Reach out to either Galit and I. I am the queen of classes. So is Galit.
Finding classes, yeah.
Yeah, finding classes. If you want to learn anything online, how to start a business online, reach out to either of us. Like, that is our wheelhouse. I mean, there's so much.
There's so much.
We can point you in some good directions.
Yeah, yeah. And I think more than anything, what we want to share with you is we're going to do this again next Wednesday, 5:30 Pacific. We're going to make sure we send you guys an email with the link. Next week, it's going to be how to deal with anxiety during these times. It's very different than self-care because there's specific techniques associated with it. So anything to do with fear, anything to do with anxiety, we're going to be doing that next week for you guys. And so, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you finish, Angela. Let me just finish and then you're taking over. Please, please recognize that Everyday Woman is here for you and we want to help you through these times. Go ahead, Ange.
I was just going to say, and then I want to open it up, Galit. I put in the chat our link to our brand new Facebook group. We set it up today.
We'll also email it.
Yeah, we'll email it to you as well. But literally, it's just a group. Come in. It's all for support. Ask questions. Support each other. It's just a free community. Everydaywoman.me is our website. We have podcasts. We have our online TV. There's a planner that you can download for free. There's a manifesto that you can download for free. There's a video. I mean, there's so much stuff to help you right now. Just keep calm and do self-care. We encourage you to take advantage of these free resources, and we would love to see you in that group. Galit and I are the only ones now, so we want you both to be in there. So Galit, let's open it up now.